let's start with the visualization. So very first thing, because every person is having their different visualization skill. Visualization is something like drawing, right? So everyone is having different skill set. They start with different way, right? Some people will starts with the report header and report footer. Some people will start with the home page, right? Some people prefers like, no, I want something like first I will create a home page. On that home page, what I will do, I will add like, let's say my some images, right? I will add the report name here, company name, then here company logo. I will add the company's like image or company wallpaper as a background. And then here I will show some finance reports like my P&L report, balance sheet, cash flow report, AR report, AP report, something like this, right? Like this, 3, 4, 5, right? And when people will click on this, if anybody wants to see the P&L report, then he has to click on this link. And once he'll click on this link, the next page will open and report will be appear, right? So it depends, like everybody's having different requirement, different skill sets, right? I will show you everything like each kind of report which you can create. Okay, so let's start first with the simple one, right? Which is your, let's say, sales summary. Now here, what you can do, you can create some visualizations, right? Before that, you can add any image, any background color also, right? So I'm just quickly adding some. Okay, so I'm going to use this dark gray color, right? All right, now on this visual first, what I want to display my report header and report footer, right? So it means I have to break this page. Okay, I want to break this page. So that part, if you see here, this would be my report header and this part would be my report footer, right? So something I want to do like this, and between in this space I will visualize some information, right? I will visualize some pie chart, some bar charts, right? Something like this. So this here I want a report, my company logo. Here I want the company name and report name already I have here. And here on the report footer, I want to show something like the copyrights thing, something, and the last refresh time of my report, something like this. Okay. So this is something, a design which we have in mind, right? Now let's say, so how to break this page into the report header and footer. So for breaking it, we don't have any report header or like footer thing here. You need to just show your creativity. Just go to the insert tab. In insert tab, you have some options like new text box, buttons, shapes, and image, right? So here I'm going to pull a shape, rectangle. Now here I can just add this rectangle as like this, okay? And the space which I have on top of that is my report header, and this is now report footer. How to change the properties, how to just handle this rectangle now. First, you have to change the properties. Line, I don't want to show. I don't want to fill this, right? So now, if you look that you have the triangle on your page, but actually it's not visible. Why? Because we have made that triangle with the same color as the report page background, right? But actually here is the triangle, right? So now for using these things, for building some creative solutions, you must have to know that what kind of features you have and what is the functionality of that. Okay. Now inside this space, you want to change some color because that you don't want to keep it same as, okay? Or what you can do, you can change the background color, okay? And front end color, you just want to keep as a light color, and background you can change to dark color. So let me just change the background color. All right, and here I'm going to fill it with a different color. Let's say this one. I think I selected the same color. Let me just. All right, perfect. So this is what I was trying to do. Now here you have this space which you can use for the report visualization. Now let's add report name. Okay, to add the report name, what you need to do? Can we add this text box, right? Or the company name. Let's say I want to show the company name, so I can add this text box, right? Okay, but this is not a good practice actually. See here, you have to take care of such kind of thing also. Let's say if you add this text box, okay, you added the company name here, okay, or any report name, anything you add, and you created, let's say 15 or 20 pages in your report. Each page is having that company name, okay, or report name. Now somebody asks you to change the company name. Let's say it was, you just enter the text as like Northwind International Ltd dot, but somebody says like, no, just show the Northwind International, don't show the Ltd limited. Then what you have to do, on each 20 pages you have to manually go and manually change it, right? So try to use the such kind of things which helps you to make the changes very dynamically. Okay, so instead of doing anything like hard coded, anything like fixed, let's try to make it dynamic. Okay, so how you can do that, what we can do, any suggestion? What I want something like, if I have 15-20 pages, in each page I have added the report name using the text. Then somebody asked me to change the report name, the company name, then on each page I have to go and I have to modify the value of this text. So what I can do, any suggestion? What do you think that what we should do in this situation? Although it's very rare, like generally you want nobody will ask you to change the company name, but sometimes like if you are showing the date format, okay, and then that thing you want to change. This is like save name into variable, okay. What about others? This is something like we do in Excel as well, right? Or we do it like hard coded in Excel on the each pages on each sheets. So I don't want to like create a issue like when I want to change the 20 pages name, then I don't want to go on each page. Okay. All right. So what, like lookup function? No. See, in Power BI, the thing, let's see, whatever you want to achieve in Power BI, actually, you don't need to think about too much complex, too much technical, the very first thing, right? Because Power BI, Microsoft designed the Power BI in the way like it gives you the more flexibility without doing anything much technical or without thinking too much logical. You can just handle it by just using the buttons, but by just using the features, built-in features. Okay. So what you want? Let's create a measure first. Here I'm going to add this measure. That's my measure name is company name. And what's my company name? Northwind International Limited, right? It's done. Now I want to add this. So what I'll do here, I will add the card visual. You can see this card. Arrange it. This red dotted line you see here, this helps you to arrange your visual to that particular location. Okay. All right. Now here you can add the company name, right? So you got this information. Now what you will do, when you will have this report, let's say I created one more page here like this, right? The same report name, company name I have on each page, and somebody asked me to just remove this LTD dot, right? I don't want to see this. So what you will do, you will just go to the measure here and just remove the value from here. Okay. So this is like you can reuse it. Okay. This is a reusability and it's done. On all your 20 pages, it will be done automatically. Got it? So instead of making it hardcore on each text visual on this text visual text box, right? You have to try to use most of the things through the measure, right? Because that will help you to do the report maintenance. Okay. Now you can customize it. You can make it beautify. How? Just go to this format pane. Here you can turn off this category, which company name is appearing here. Just turn it off. Now you can increase the size. Here you have the font. You can change the fonts also if you want, right? So there are a lot of things which you can do in the properties. Now I want to change the background. So the same thing I'll do. I'll just go to the background. Here I will select the same background color. The foreground color from the data labels, select white. Perfect. Now you can arrange it here like this. All right. Next, I want to add the company logo here. Okay. So how to do that? Here I have the image button, right? Just click on this image and you can import any image. Let's say I want to just import this not this one. Let me just find if there is any logo or any company name I have. All right, so now I have this company logo here. Click on image and go to the folder, just pick it. You can do the scaling. Just select fill. Yes, it's perfect. In data visualization, there is not anything technical, right? Everything is like the usage of the features and the combination of your colors and the combination of all the properties, all the features which you have in Power BI. All right, now you want to add the something on the report footer, right? So you want to add the, let's say, the last refresh time of this report. So for that, what we have to do, the same thing, we have to create a first measure. And in that measure, we will capture the last refresh time of the report. Okay, I will explain you that how data refresh works in Power BI, how the data sets refresh actually. Because ideally, reports does not refresh in Power BI, data set refreshes. Once data set refresh, then data will automatically refresh in the reports and in the dashboards. Okay. So now I'm just going to create another measure. The measure name is last refresh. Here you can use today function, right? You can show the times in different time zone also. You can do time conversion, time zone conversion as well. A lot of things you can do. It's just like a DAX measure. Again, then I do the same thing. I create a card, or if I create the card, then again I have to do a lot of things, like I have to change the color, I have to do a lot of things. So what I can do, I can just use this card visual, just copy and paste it, place it here, Control C and Control V, copy paste, and here just replace last refresh here, right? So here you got the last refresh. Okay, now you can just increase the size, make it 25 or 20, 15. Yes, 15 is better. If you want to show the time also, then you can use different function, right? But if you just want to show the date only, then you can show date, and instead of showing this time, you can just go here and you can change the format of this column, right? So just choose this one. Now you can show here, let's say if you want to add something else here, for example, if you don't want to show any text string also along with this date, like let's say last refreshed date is, or last refreshed at this. So what you can do, you can just do a concatenation of that last date, last refresh date with this today date. Okay, and then you can display that text value here. Got it? Data visualization is the most important, most interesting and the easy thing of Power BI, but there are something like which you can use to when you want to use some advanced features, when you want to create some advanced visualization, you want to create some like interactive reports, then you have to use some advanced features. Although that is also just kind of a feature usage. You don't need to write any expression, you don't need to write any programming or any understanding of the programming language. No, it's very handy tool. Okay, all right, so now okay, so how we can add the concatenation of this, right? So for that we just need to create a concatenation here, right? So this today we are using just to calculate the date only. In case if you want to calculate, if you want to show the time also, then you can use the now function, right? Now function gives you the time also. Just change the format from here. All right, so here you got the complete date and time. Now let's say if you want to make the change here, you want to concatenate it, then what you can do, you can just add a text string here. Let's say last refreshed at, right, and here you can add ampersand operator. All right, so that's it. All right, now let's see how we can add some other visuals on it, right? So first of all, we have to decide which filters we would require on our report, right? So this is the important thing. first we decide like what would be the visuals, what would be the design of the report. We have to decide that which filters we are going to use on the report, which will derive the complete like data filtration on your report. Okay, so to visualize your filters on a report, you have three options actually. Okay, or you can say like you have three type of filters. The one is canvas filter. Okay, this canvas filter we call it slicer, right, which you can add on the slide on the report page. And another is you have filter pane, and the third you have is drill through. Sorry. So filter pane, drill through filter. Okay, so how we can add a slicer on the report. So let's say you have decided that your report will have the three filters, right? Let's say customer, country, and one is like category. Okay, so you have to add the slicer here. You can see slicer. Slicer is a report or canvas level filter. So you add a slicer here. Slicer we can use, we use in Excel also, that is the same. Okay, so here you are going to add column. Okay, so now here let's say I have the orders table. Okay, let's say here I have one more table, that is my customers table. Okay, in that customer table I have the unique data. It means that is my dimension or master table. So generally we should add dimensions or the filters from the master tables, from the dimension tables, because we will have the relationship with dimension and fact tables, so data will be automatically filtered. But in this case we don't have the customer name here right now, right? So what we can do, we can just use this table also, or what we can do, we can create a separate table, right? We can create a separate table. In that table, let me just create that. In that table I will get the, I'm going to create a separate table. This is my customers, and here I'm going to just get the distinct of customer name, right? So you can add the customer name here, close bracket. And now here you will get one more table, which is, let's say, your customers, right? So here you have all the distinct customers. You can get more columns also. Let's say along with customer, you can add the customer ID also. Okay. So here, remove it. And here I'm going to use add columns. Now here, you can use the new table name, right? So the table name is from, let's say, orders. From orders table, I want to get the distinct what? Customer ID. Right. So if you see here that the DAX is very important, right? Everywhere you have to use the DAX, right? So in case in visualization also DAX is important. In case of relationships, data model, everywhere DAX is important, right? So here I'm just going to get multiple columns from any table. Okay, distinct multiple columns from any table. Okay, customer ID already exists. All right. Okay. I think something got wrong with this. Where is the orders table? Okay. Yeah, I will have to check this expression because it's not allowing. Maybe I'm missing something. Okay, I will have to check this. So basically, I'm just trying to create a new table here, right? So because I don't have the customer name here, right? So let's say I got it. Now I need to add a relationship between these tables. Okay. Generally, what we do, like when we work on the complex scenarios, we will always have the dimension tables. Okay. So in this case, we were not having the dimensions. So I just created this dimension table here, right? Now in this slicer, I will add this customer name from the dimension, not from the fact, right? Now this is your slicer. You can change it to drop down here just to save the space, because if you want to see the complete list of the slicers here, then you have to scroll down your slicer. You want to make it down, right? But you can just choose drop down, and now here you can use the drop down slicer, right? So now here you can save the space on your report, right? In the same way, you can create like multiple slicers, just copy paste. All right, so these 3 slicers now I have. Again, the same thing, like you need to change the look and feel and everything. So things become like a little bit like time consuming when you add any customization onto the report page, right? Because here we added the black theme on my report page. So now it means I have to change the background color of each of the visual manually, right? So you have to think like if you are changing selecting any background or something like this, then yes, definitely that will give the very attractive look to your report instead of it just making with a white background. But then you will have to do a lot of you have to put a lot of efforts just to changing the colors and organize all of your formatting properly. Now in order to change this complete black and all everything, you can just change here. So one visual I'm going to change. Okay, now when it will come to this applying to this country and category, then I don't need to make it again on it. I will use the format painter functionality. Okay, so here just go in this. For each visual, let's say for this slicer, I have the selection controls. Whether you want to select only one value at a time, then you can enable this. It means now when you will be able to select only one value, you will see the radio button here, right? Only one value will be selected at one time. You cannot select more than one value at one time, right? So if you want something like always select only one value, then you can turn on the single select functionality. With multi-select, if you want to turn on the multi-select, then you will have to make sure that multi-select with control is enabled, right? If I turn off it, then you see it's without pressing the control key, it's allowing me to select the multiple values. Okay. When I turn it on, here you see by default, it's not selecting multiples. When I select control, then it will allow me to select the multiple values. Okay. Here you have a select all functionality in case if you have selected like multiple values, right? Now you want to reset it, then here you have this clear selection button. You can just click on this and it will be reset. But sometimes what happen, this clear selection button will be visible only when you have enabled this slicer header functionality. Okay, sometimes many people disable it. Once I disable it, then you won't see that functionality to remove all the filters. Then what you can do, you can enable, you can add, let's say you have added multiple values in this slicer. Now you want to deselect, so there's not any functionality to deselect, then you have to manually deselect all the values. So what you can do, you can just turn on the select all, right? Now you go here and select and deselect. So in this way you can deselect it. Now the point comes like why people disable this slicer header, because this slicer header sometimes does not restricts you for some visualization things. What kind of, like let's say if you do not have enough space on your report, right? Let's say now this without report header, without the slicer header, it just takes only that much space, but with the header it is taking the header space also. Okay, but sometimes when people don't have that much space or they don't want to show it, then they have to turn off this report this slicer header. Once the slicer header is got turned off, then these functionality, this clear selection and the changing of the filter type, this will also be hidden, right? So you need to be very careful, because sometimes people hide the header and then they just say like we don't have any functionality to clear the, that's because you have disabled the slicer header, and these two things comes with the slicer header only. If I add any date here, any date type column for the slicer, then you will see the multiple functionalities here into this list. Let's see, instead of category, if I add the order date here, so it means these slicers behaves as per the column data type. So if I add order date here, now when I click on this type of selection here, you can see between, before, after, right? Here you have the related date also, right? So related date is very interesting one. If I just scroll it like this to increase the space here, like this, here you will get the slider also, right? So now you can choose last 1 year, last 1 month, or based on a requirement, right? In case if I change it to between, here you will see this slider, right? So you can filter out your data based on by just selecting this range. Here you will get the calendar. You can choose any date here, right? So the selection filter slicer selection basically works based on the column data type. So if column data type is text, then these columns will be automatically, these functionalities will be automatically changed here. Okay. For undo anything in the during data visualization, you can just press Control Z, right? And it will be undo for you. All right. Now I'm going to add some visualizations here. So generally, how do we work with this report, right? So the standard, the best practice says like we have to divide the complete report page or the report canvas in a quadrant, right? So this is the place like which I can use for the reports visualization, the data visualization now. So this is my first quadrant, second quadrant, third, and the fourth, right? It's not mandatory, but on the first quadrant, practice says that in the first quadrant, always we have to place the most important data, most important values here, right? Because generally when people see the report, generally the first time we will look at this point, at this corner, right? It means the first quadrant, okay? So it means we have to put all such kind of information like total sales, total profit, margin profit, right? Loss or like gain or time, growth over time, such kind of thing we need to add generally here into the first quadrant. Okay, so it's same as like most important thing we need to add in the first quadrant based on the rank. Like the second important we can add into the second quadrant, third important we can add into third quadrant, and which information like such kind of information is having like a tabular data or something like this, that thing we can add here into the fourth quadrant. It should not be like the table we add into the fourth quadrant into the first quadrant, right? It would not be like a good practice. So let me just show you here. So if I add a table, right? So now just visualize it like we have the four quadrants, 1, 2, 3, 4, right? I'm just disabling it. Now when I add a table, right? So I added this table. In this table, I'm going to visualize the data from my customer orders. Okay. So I want to visualize what? I want to just visualize category wise sales. So I add the category sales column, or if you have the sales measure only, then you can add the measure also, right? And then you can add the profit. Let's say few columns I'm just going to add here. Profit, right? So this data you have added here. Now you can just increase the size of this table grid. Now when I add this tabular data here onto the first quadrant and the some other important data which like card visual, right? So these card visuals basically I'm going to add here into the fourth quadrant, right? Why it is like just overlapping each other visual, I will tell you why and how you can handle it. This is your, let's say, fourth quadrant. And here in these card visuals, I'm going to place some KPIs like, let's say, quickly total profit. And in this one, I'm going to add net sales. Just some random values I'm just going to add here. All right, so now you see that what I did in the first quadrant, I just added this tabular data and the main KPIs, the important measures, the facts I added into the fourth quadrant, right? So as soon as just look at this report on the very first side, you will see on this first quadrant, right? Our eyes just go into this first quadrant. So ideally what we should do, the first important thing is like in first quadrant, we should place just a summary, okay? Summarized values only. And if you have any other data, then go second priority, then you can give to the quadrant 2, then 3, then 4, something like this. All right. So it's not mandatory, but it's good if you are just when you are creating your report or dashboard, and if you consider this, then it will be helpful for your users to understand the report. All right. Okay. So now what we can do now, we can move all these cards into the first quadrant. So how to move? In the latest version of Power BI Desktop, actually, we got a new functionality that is like you can move your multiple visuals by just selecting like this, and then you can move from one place to another place, right? But this is my Power BI Desktop is right now March update, right? So in April, we got that feature, okay? Even we got the May update also, right? So if you want, you can upgrade your Power BI Desktop. I didn't upgrade it because of like my many projects are like just complete going on this onto this version. So first I want to complete that and then I will upgrade it. Because the thing is like when you upgrade the Power BI Desktop, then you have to upgrade your data gateway version also. Why? Because the new in each version Microsoft add or enhance the query mashup engine, right? So what is query mashup engine? Will not go in much detail for it. Query mashup engine is something like when you have like 20 tables in your data model, okay, and those 20 tables are coming from different sources. So when you refresh the data in Power BI, then at the same time Power BI executes or fires multiple queries on the data, right? So all the queries executes parallelly. Okay, so that's something like query mashup engine. So Microsoft in like updates or enhance this query mashup engine with every Power BI desktop. Okay, with every release of Power BI desktop. When you refresh the data through the data gateway on Power BI service, then you must have the latest data gateway version. Why? Because this data gateway version will be having the updated support for query mashup engine. Okay, so let's say here query mashup engine version was, let's say 13.3, 13.4, but previous version of query mashup engine here you are using 13.3 only. Okay, so let's say it means you have published something with the latest version on Power BI service and you asked your data gateway to refresh the data, but data gateway is not having that feature, that functionality, or that enhancement which was done into this 0.4. Okay, so what is important then you will have to, at the same time you will have to upgrade the data gateway also, right? It means you have to, otherwise you may get some data refresh issues or some different kind of like uncompatibility issues. So you will have to upgrade it to the same level, right? Then whatever the query mashup engine you have, the version you have here or the features you have, that will be supported by the data gateway. It means then you won't see any problem or any issue during the data refresh time. Okay, so this is just an add-on information for you, because whenever you update, it should not be like a Power BI desktop you are using March 2020 or May 2020, but data gateway version you are using, let's say of last year 2019 November. No, you will see some lot of different kind of compatibility issues, different type of inconsistent refresh errors. Okay, and the good thing is like on internet also you won't find the exact answer of those problems. Okay, so the straightforward thing is always upgrade your data gateway as well. Okay, data gateway you can automate. Okay, you can automate the data gateway upgrade through the PowerShell scripts, but Power BI Desktop upgrade is a manual right now. Okay, so now let's move them. Now you can select the property, select all the card visuals at a time, and then you can go to the format, and here at the same time you can just change the setting, right? Same type of visual setting you can change in one go as well, right? Now you can just decrease the size. For example, if you want to reduce the height or width of these, then here you can just go to the general tab, and here you can change width, height, X position, Y position, everything, right? And here is the ALT text that this property basically defines, like for each visual you want to define like what's the purpose or what's the description of that. So such kind of information you can just add it here. Okay, that information will be visualized under this section only. You can't see that thing here. Okay. All right, so now I'm quickly going to add some more visuals here on a report. Okay, and then we will format that. Okay. Okay, so now here I'm going to add one line chart. On that line chart I will show sales trend by date. So here you have this line visual. And this you can add order date. Order date wise, I want to show the trend. When I add any visual, then you see some of the data fields, right? What are the data fields? You see, this is data field. This is legend data field. This is values. This is Y2 legend field. Okay, this is a tooltips data field, right? So you have to select that where you are going to drag and drop it here, here, or here, or here, or here. Okay, so it depends like which value or what is the requirement of that. So here you can see like I want to visualize the data on x-axis, right? I want to visualize order date on the x-axis. So I have to place the order date in axis tab, right? So here is your axis. Axis means your x-axis, right? Nothing will be visualized until unless you don't add anything in the values. It means like what measure, what fact you want to display for this visual. So you have to search here, let's say sales. I want to display the total sales. So I select the measure of it, right? And measures you can add into the values tab, right? So here you got the trend of the 4-year sale, 2012 to 2015. You can see here the title of each visual. You can just rename that. You can change that. Just go here and go to the title. Under the title, you can define anything, whatever you want. Sales trend. You can customize this. Again, everything you can do with it. Color change, background, foreground, everything you can do with it. Now I'm going to add one donut chart on it. In donut chart, I want to show sales contribution by segment, right? So here you search segment. I'm going to add it into the legend. And again, the sales column in my values tab, right? So here you got this. You can again go to title, just change it. Sales by segment. All right, so why it is happening, like when I just click here, so it just comes here. Why? Because this is a what visual we used here. This is a rectangle, right? So this rectangle basically is coming to the front, okay, and all the visuals goes to the back of this triangle, of this rectangle, right? So how you can handle this type of visual, this type of situation? Select it, okay, then you have to go select it, and then you have to go under the format tab. Under format, you see some bring forwards and backward functionality, right? So you have to decide that like which visual you want to bring or which one you want to send to the back. Okay, so let's say this visual, this rectangle I want to send to back. So you select that and just click on send to back, right? So now it has been sent to back, but these visuals you want to bring on front, so you can select them and you can bring to front, right? Same thing you can do with these also, bring to front. Okay, so like this you can manage when you will deploy this report on the Power BI service, and when you will select any visual, then the background, this rectangle will not be popped up, right? That will not be come to the front. Is it clear? Any doubt? Okay, so visualization is not much difficult. It's just like the skills, like how you visualize, how just you use the combination of the different visuals, right? So it's up to you. People just create a tabular report and that's it, it's done. All right, now here you can add a drill down, right? So drill down, again, it's very important feature, drill down. So how you can handle the drill down? For visualizing the data through the drill down, you have to use a hierarchy first, right? So what is hierarchy? What do you understand by hierarchy? Hierarchy is, let's say you have year, quarter, month, week, something like this. This is a hierarchy, date hierarchy. Or let's say you have country, then state, then city. This is another hierarchy. Let's say product category, product subcategory, and then products. This is another hierarchy, right? So all these hierarchies basically you must have when you want to use the drill down functionality. You don't need to create any hierarchy. You want, if you want, you can create hierarchy also, but visualization handles the hierarchy automatically. Why? All right, let me show you. So now here what I'm going to do, I'm going to visualize country and city information on map, right? So what I do, I just add this map here. I don't have the enough space on the report, but although. Okay, so now in this map, I'm going to visualize the total sales by country. Okay, by country. So what I have to do, I have to just add the sales into the values tab, right? So here I don't have the values tab. Now you have to see values tab. Basically, for most of the visuals, you will see the values, but here for map, it's size actually, because you will just highlight the bubble size based on the sales amount. If let's say sales amount is for US, sales amount is let's say $100 million. Okay, then the bubble size would be bigger for the US. So add sales and then add the country onto the location. So country is my location tab. Now you can just go title and change it by country. Now you can So you can see here, like for this bubble, you see for United States, the sales is, you can see here how much it is. We are not able to read the complete value, right? But although it's like 114, but here you see decimal values are coming like to many decimal places. So we can handle that. Just go to your sales measure, select it and add this to up to 2 decimal place only. Okay. When you go here you can see now it is showing 2 decimal places. But if you see the, so this, what is this black small screen? This is the tooltip. Okay. What is tooltip? Here you can see country United States, but it is showing total sales too. So ideally the column name should not be like this. The measure name should not be like this. So that's why we should follow the naming convention when you are going to write any DAX expressions, right? So what you can do, you can change this instead of total sales to, you can change it total sales. Okay. Something like this. Once you change the column or measure name, in everywhere in your report, wherever it is used, it will be automatically changed, right? So there will not be, anything will not be broken in your report, right? So when I hover again, you can see now it is showing country and total sales. Some people say like they want to see this total sales value also in like thousands or millions. Okay, so that thing is not available right now, but what you can do, you can do a customization for it, right? Like you can build another separate table. In that table you can just get the different unit for it, right? Then you can display it, but it's a known like a request which is pending to Microsoft, right? It's like many people wants to see it. Although if you want to see it here, like you can see 11.36 million. So it is showing the millions, thousands and everything here, but on the tooltip, it won't show the data. As you can see here also 11.36 million is appearing here, 11,357,110, right? So you can't see the total sales on tooltip, okay, in units, like in million or billion, something like this. Okay. So now we were talking about the drill down. So right now this visual, this map is showing the data of sales by country only. Now you want to see something like, if I select any country, then it should go to the next level of that hierarchy. It should display the data city wise of that country. Okay. So if you see here, it's showing United States, right? So for US total sales is this, but what about for the city wise? If you want to see the city wise sales on map, then what you have to do, you have to add another hierarchy under this location. So right now it is showing the data for country only, but if you want to see next to country, you want to see the city also, then you just drag and drop the city just below to this country column. Once you add it, then here you will see some drill down buttons, right? So these are the drill down buttons. Now, if you want to go for any specific country, for example, for United States, and you want something like, if I click on the United States, then it should display the data. So what happened right now, when I selected the United States, it filtered out, it just highlighted the data on other visuals only for United States, right? So when I select any country, it just filter out the data only for the selected value. So this is what, this is the cross highlight. Okay, this is what cross highlight. So here I want to go to the next level. It means city wise. So I select, first I have to enable this drill down. So here you can see, click on to drill down the functionality. Click on it. Now drill down is turned on. When I click on the country now, it takes me to the city level, right? So now you can see, I can see the data of US city level, right? So this is a hierarchy. In case if you have another hierarchy further to city also, then that can also be visualized here. Okay. All right. This is drill down. In same case, let's say if you want to see this data for here, let's say India, when I click on this India location here, it will just show all the cities, small points onto the city. You can zoom in, just scroll, and here you can see that is the maximum sales in India. So you can see the big bubble here in Delhi, and one big bubble you can see here in Gorakhpur. All right, and some of the big bubbles you can see here in, let's say, Pune. Okay, and like this. Okay. If you want to see this information or any visual in a bigger screen or into the zoom in, then you have to open it into the focus mode. What is focus mode? Each visual is having this icon, right? Focus mode. It will just open it into the full screen like this. Okay, now you can visualize it or interact it with onto the larger screen. Same as with donor chart, just click on this focus mode and here you can see the data. Okay, and go back to the report by just click on this back to report. If you want to go back from the drill down, then here is you have drill up, right? go back, and here you can see drill up data. Got it? Drill down comes with many functionalities. Okay, so we will explore all other also. All right, so I see a question how to change colors in donut. Okay, so everything is inside the format pane. Select the donut, go to format, and here you have the data colors, right? So consumer is visualizing here right now by the blue color. You can change it to, let's say, yellow, right? And corporate, you can change it to the different color, and this one you can change to blue color, right? So everything is here. All right. Only the thing is we need to just explore all the properties. Just try to change and see like what's changing on your visual. All right. Okay, I see another question here. Please explain stacked column bar chart, completed, percentage, and set value. So what does it completed percentage? Is it something like you want me to create any like measure for it, any calculation, or what? I can understood actually from this. Although stacked column bar chart, we can see here. See, for any visual which you want to, yes.
Let's just say the targeted sales are for target scale. Let's just say the target sales are like 5,000, and then there's only 4,700 is done. So how do you put that 100% scale as a 5,000 stack?
Okay, it means like achievement percentage, you mean?
Yes. Yeah, if you could just do a demo. Thank you.
Okay, sure. So first you must have the target data and actual, right? Or maybe like your budget data or actual. So actual always, yes, you have here, right? Actually we have here into this orders, right? Let's say I don't have the target data here right now. Okay, so but I can do one thing. I can consider some of the data, right? Ideally you should have the data into the same in the same format, like the target, month wise target, dealer wise, custom wise target. Okay, then it will be like good to visualize the data, so don't worry.
So is it possible that I can put the target in the visualization directly? That's not possible.
No, indirectly you can't put anything here. First you must have the data in as a tabular format here into the table.
Yeah. Okay.
So let's say if your table, if your target data in Excel, then you have to first load the Excel data here and then use that data for visualization for like any kind of thing. But first you must have the data here. Directly we can't put anything. Okay, yes, in few of the visuals we can do, but that would be like a hard-coded thing again. Let's
For example, that the legend you can limit, right? I mean, you want to show 10,000 units, or you want to have the difference between in million views. So can we define the star for the stack bar? Like what is the target value? Like 5,000, 10,000, 20,000?
Yeah, I'm just showing you. See, this functionality, like if you want to visuals directly, you want to like feed your target or your budget value, then all visuals does not provide this functionality. Only one or two provide, like this gauge you can see, right? This gauge visual basically helps you. Let's say this is my total sales, is my actual sales, right? And what is my targeted value? So here you can see target value. Let's say it is 61.82 million. My target value was something different. So what you can do, you can just go here and the gauge axis, you can just put the target value here. Let's say it's 61 million. Let's say if I make it to 70 million, I think it's done. 70, no, now it's done. 70 million, right? So now you can see this blue line, this is your target and how much you have achieved till now, right? So it means 61.82 million you have achieved, but the 70 million is your hard-coded value, right? In case if you want to increase it, then you have to come here and manually you have to change it.
Okay. But where did the 123 million figure came in? I mean, if you see the scale.
Yeah, same, because it just by default, it takes the maximum scale to just double of the actuals, which you see here, it will show the maximum just double. Let's say if your actual is 10, then maximum scale would be automatically considered as 20.
Can I edit that? Like, can I just keep, because I might, this could be a good figure for me. I might want to show it as at the end of the donut for the max.
So what you can do in case you want to customize the max, then you can just fill the value here. By default, it will just double up.
You're saying this is not possible in the stacked columns.
No, because they don't allow us to fill the values. For them, we must have the data in Power BI.
Okay, so let's take a look at the demo of that stack.
Yep. All right, so in this way, you can display this data. All Alright, although we'll come in other visuals also, because data visualization is like a very descriptive thing actually, right? There are a lot of things, although like if I say like only 20% we covered today, only 20%. Okay, it's just like a basic things, but there are like all the major things are like still remaining. But basically, which one you want to see is tagged?
Stacked bar, like towards the right, the 100%, the blue color towards the right. Next one. Next one. Yeah, this one. 100% stacked bar.
Okay, this one you want to see. All right. So we'll add this visual, right? All right. Now let's add, for example, let's see what's the purpose of this visual first. So if you see here that 100% stacked bar chart. So what it is showing you, you see that here you see bars are like to the same level, right? And how much has been filled out of that one. Okay. So let's say if I have 100 as my target or my maximum value, then out of 100, how much is filled? Okay. So here I'm just going to create a customization just to show an example. I'm just going to do a thing like I'm just creating a measure here. Like this is my target. Okay.
Yeah.
Now my target is, let's say here 70 million, let's say. Now I'm going to add the actuals versus target here. I want to see. I think one. Okay, so now where is my sales? Add the sales column here, total sales, right? So I added the sales, drag and drop it directly. And where is your target? Now, if you see here, it's like almost I have to change the target to like 100. Perfect. Now it would be visualized much better. Or let's say instead of 100, 150. Like, so it's 150 million. Okay, so now you can see here, this was your target, right? The complete line, if you see here, this was your target, right? And out of this target, how much you have achieved? Only that much, right? So it means this one yet to achieve. Okay. Now what's the problem with it? Because I don't see like this using this hard-coded value, you can display the data. But now the point is, if somebody says, okay, so this is just total target versus total actual, that's fine. You can do it just putting a hard-coded value here. But if now I want to see what was the target for category, okay, let's say if you see here category wise target, I have 3 categories: consumer, corporate, home office. So what was the target of these different categories and how much you have achieved? It means this target actual versus target, I want to see category wise. So what you will do, you will try to add category into the excess. Once you add it, you see, just if you focus here, you see for technology category it's showing 23 million. For furniture it's showing 20 million, and for it it's 18, right? So it's these are not same. Okay, but if you see here, but for these furniture and other categories, the target would be same for all. Why? Because we don't have that detailed data for target. Okay, category wise target we don't have that. That's why it is showing the target fixed for each category. So when you visualize, yeah, exactly. So when you visualize on an excess level, then this idea would fail. Okay, so you can't do it until unless you don't have the bifurcation or the detail of this target category wise. Okay, so I see one more can we change bubble to required symbols in drill down map? In the map, you mean you want to change the bubbles in different shape? Okay, does it mean like this? You want to change the bubble in, like, let's say in heart shape, or let's say in triangle shape, something? No, that you can't do here right now in Power BI. Okay, but very soon, in, like, I read the Microsoft blog, the roadmap, they said like around August or September maybe this functionality will be like rolled out. You will be able to change anything. Instead of these bar lines, you will be able to choose any icon, right? Because this functionality in Tableau is like very excellent. So Microsoft is going to provide that one also very soon. Okay, so currently we can't change the bubbles. Yes, we can change some of the settings in bubbles. Let's say if you go here, bubble size, yes, you can make bubble size small and big, something like this. You can do something like this. In the map controls, you can like auto zoom, you can enable or disable zoom buttons, you can enable disables, but right now you can't change the bubbles, right? The map, you can't change it. You can change the background, like right now it is road map, you can change it to aerial map, right? You can change it to dark map, light map. Okay, these different things you can do. Got it? Bubble color you can change. Instead of blue, you can change it to a different color. All right. Okay, like dollar. Yeah, dollar you can't change. No, you can't change that right now. You can add the dollar symbol with this value, with the total sales value, you can add the dollar, but that will be visible only when you will hover and you will see this tooltip value. Next question you can see, can we add conditions to change colors to bubbles? Yeah, good question. This is the this question actually I was expecting from the beginning of the session. See, here in Power BI visualization, lot of things you can do with conditional formatting, right? So this is the question you asked. This is related to the conditional formatting. It means initially Microsoft just added the conditional formatting for the table visual only, for the table and matrix. But now every month Microsoft is rolling out this functionality for a lot of things. Like let's say this sales by country, you want to change the column, this title, right? The name of this visual based on the conditions. You want to change the colors, you want to change this and that, right? So a lot of things now you can change it. So let's see for bubble if we can do or not. Select this visual first and go to the format. And you said about the bubble colors. So if you go here right now, you see in front of this default color, you see 3 dots. Once you click on it, you can see conditional formatting. If in front of any property, if you see this conditional formatting thing here, it means yes, you can dynamically, based on the conditions, you can change the colors of these bubbles. It means where the sales is, let's say more than 30 million for any country, then show that country in the red bubble. If country sale is, let's say 20 million, 10 million, then show it into the green color. Such kind of things you can do during this conditional formatting, right? Okay, this is like most commonly used, and in every feature, in every like visual, you will be required this one very frequently. Let's quick change. I changed the with the default settings. I just added the conditional formatting here, and now if you see the conditional formatted columns, so you see where you have the maximum value that is appearing in the blue, where you have the middle range of the sales, right? You see like Australia, India, where you see China, you see France, right? So these are appearing in the yellow. But where you have very small size, those data points are like very light bubbles, right? So now here people will just focus only on the yellow and the blue color. Okay, so these are my main countries where we do most of the business. Got it? That's a great question actually. I was expecting this. Okay, and this conditional formatting you can apply on a lot of properties, a lot of things. Okay, so which makes your visuals, your reports to the next level. It means you can create a highly customized, highly dynamic report. Okay, so all the things comes like idea should come to your mind first, then search in Power BI whether you can implement that or not. But in terms of like possibility, yes, I will say out of 100, 96 or 97 things you can do. Okay. But the thing is, like instead of just visualizing your boring reports or simply tabular reports and with like simple background and simple formatting, it's better that if you leverage the functionality, especially like it has been said, like Power BI is the best visualization tool. The Power BI main capability is visualization. It can give you very attractive look. A lot of things, a lot of things you can do. Even if I just want to show some of the samples, like what kind of report you can design, just because of like instead of like creating some simple and basic reports, what you can achieve, what you can do. Okay, and I also recommend you that just try to do such kind of reports, although it takes a bit time. But all right, I'm just showing you the last thing now. Depending on the higher value, yeah, this is the same thing, right? So using this conditional formatting. Okay, so here you can see what kind of different reports we have. Let me open this one, climate change. This is Microsoft Power BI data gallery. Here many people created their reports, dashboards, and they published it here just as a showcase. Okay, so you can get the reference from here, what kind of thing you can do here. This is another one, sales goal. Based on your area, based on your interest, you can get the reports, right? You can get the ideas, what kind of thing you can do here. Some problem with this one, so it's not loading. Close it. Just wait for the others to load. You can see that what's the purpose of this one. These are the samples. The facts have been presented time and again. Here you can see that it's about our decision you made when building the report. For example, why did you use the certain colors visual? So you can just read out all these things that are very important. Okay, here you can see that which data set they use, what was the source. So you can, everything you can get it from here. Okay. All right. Okay, guys. Thank you. That's all from my side for today.
$1,000. This is how we can work with the halving clause in SQL. And this brings us to the end of this session. Thanks for attending, and let's meet in the next class.